Now this right here is your accelerator linkage throttle rod assembly, and this rod assembly will attach directly to your accelerator cross shaft and to your accelerator pedal. And when you pull on this, it will transfer power between all the different components to the end result of pulling on your carburetor. The first step we have to do is assemble our accelerator throttle rod assembly. And to do so, we have our rod. We're going to put on our nut. I put on about 3/4 of the way onto your threads. Next, put on your L bracket, and you want to install your L bracket facing this direction, or the longer end towards the hook on your rod. And then we'll have it so the shorter end goes through your rod and the longer end goes downwards. And this is where your spring will connect in this small hole. Just push it on. And finally, you have to put on our little end. And this end connects directly to your cross shaft. And we'll just thread this on all the way until it gets up to the other nut. Now it is time to install our accelerator linkage carburetor spring tab onto the stud of our carburetor, and the stud attaches your carburetor to your manifold. So it's important that we get on our spring tab before we tighten down our carburetor fully. And to do so, all you have to do is orientate it this direction, so the angle pointing upwards, and the bigger hole will attach to the stud, and this is where the spring will go, and it will just be pushed onto your stud as so. Spring tab is 90 degrees with your engine block, and your two holes are in line, and your spring tab is directly facing towards your firewall. And just tighten your nuts up now so your gasket compresses. Just tighten them evenly on both sides. Next, we have to install our accelerator cross shaft onto the back side of the engine, and it'll be orientated in this direction, and we'll thread it through these holes to the engine block, and that will be on the back side. It'll be hard to show, but just find the two holes that are on the back side of your engine block, align it this direction, and just thread it into these holes, and we'll just hand tighten these bolts. The accelerator linkage cross shaft is attached to the back of your engine block as so. This is your accelerator pedal. This is your plate that will mount to the tub. This is your pin that will connect your plate to your pedal. Cotter pin will secure your pin and your plate to your pedal. You have your two pan head bolts, and they will have a nut lock washer and just normal washer, and that'll be attached to the tub. And this right here is your accelerator pedal boot. The first thing we have to do is build our accelerator pedal. So we will install our plate to our pedal using this pin and have a cotter pin to secure this assembly together. The plate will be installed facing this direction or with these holes facing towards your pedal, and it will just be placed over these two holes on your pedal, and your pin will go through your plate and your pedal. Now it's time to install your pin through your pedal and your plate, and you want to make sure that your pin is orientated in this direction, or so your pin, the flat head on your pin, is towards the spot on your pedal that's actually flat, and the part that has this little indent right here is actually where your cotter pin will go. Now push your pin through all of the holes, just line them all up and push it all together. Now it is time to install our cotter pin. We want to make sure we have everything set up correctly, so the flat part of your pin is facing the flat part of your accelerator pedal. The pin goes through your accelerator pedal and your plate, and then comes out on the side where this little indent is, and that will on your accelerator pedal, and that's where your cotter pin will be placed. And your cotter pin will go in this orientation with the round part towards you guys, and just push it through the hole like that. And now we will bend up both ends, and that will secure our plate to our pedal. The cotter pin is now bent. We also install our treadle hinge spring. The spring has a long end and a short end. The short end will go towards your bracket. A long end will go towards your pedal, and it kind of slides on like that. Push it on, and that's all there is to it. And now we can put our 2 screws in to the tub. Your accelerator pedal will be installed into these 2 small holes right here, and your part that'll attach to your linkage will go through the upper hole located up on the tub up there. And we'll just get this secured using 2 flathead bolts with a nut lock washer and just a washer. This will be used to secure your accelerator pedal to the tub. The accelerator pedal is now attached securely to the tub. Make sure you don't forget to install your accelerator pedal boot. And now we will push our accelerator pedal through the top hole where we can connect our accelerator pedal to our accelerator linkage cross shaft using a cotter pin through the small hole up here. And we'll just lift it up and we'll now push it all the way through the tub, and we'll get on the other side to connect everything together. On the engine side, we will connect the accelerator pedal to our accelerator linkage cross shaft way down there, and we'll just use a cotter pin to secure. Now it is time to install our accelerator linkage rod, and we'll just attach this end to our accelerator linkage cross shaft on this hole up here, and this portion right here will attach directly to your carburetor. So to install it, we will just slide it into that hole and we'll secure with a cotter pin. Now looking at the carburetor, we will attach the accelerator linkage rod to the carburetor open and close valve, and we'll just push it through the hole and we'll secure with a cotter pin. Going over where I've used a cotter pin to secure your accelerator linkage, there's a cotter pin right here on your carburetor tab. There's a cotter pin that attaches your rod to your cross shaft, and there's a cotter pin way down there which attaches your accelerator pedal to your accelerator linkage cross shaft. Finally, we can install our accelerator pedal return spring, and this return spring will go from our carburetor spring tab down here to our accelerator linkage rod on this L bracket facing right here. And to install our spring, we have 2 size hooks, a small hook and a big hook. The small hook will go attached to our spring tab and hook from underneath as so, and we'll pull our spring to your accelerator linkage rod and we'll hook it from the top as so. And now you have your return spring now installed, but now we have to adjust the tension on our spring. The tension that is set up as of right now, if you go over to your driver's side on the floor, we get to our accelerator pedal, and you can see we don't get full range of travel on our accelerator pedal because the boot is interfering with that. So we have to adjust our spring so we allow more travel on our accelerator pedal. To adjust our accelerator linkage rod, we have to remove our spring first, and now we can move this nut all the way back so it puts less tension on the spring. And now we have to pull out our rod from the carburetor, and then we can spin it forward, and that will bring the whole rod forward. And now we can put it back into the carburetor, and now we can put our spring back on. So by making that simple adjustment now, your accelerator pedal has a lot more travel now, and now we'll fully open the valve on your carburetor. So when we go over to our carburetor and the linkage, now when you push down on your accelerator pedal, as you can see, you'll get full travel on the valve. It's very critical that we get full travel on the valve when you push down your accelerator pedal, so it opens the valve all the way on your carburetor so you get maximum power out of your Jeep. Once you got your throttle rod properly set and it has full travel with your accelerator pedal and a little bit of tension on your spring, we can now tighten down this nut to fully secure our adjustments. Just using a wrench, we will tighten. The very final step is we have to bend all of our cotter pins so everything stays in place. Finally, bend the cotter pin up in all three locations. Your first location is your valve on your carburetor. Then moving up your accelerator linkage rod, we go to the part where it connects to your cross shafts, bend that cotter pin up. And lastly, we go down where your accelerator pedal attaches to your cross shaft. And that's how you install your linkage for your accelerator pedal.